Jai Hind, Namaskar, and welcome to our very special episode. And today we are going to discuss a very important subject. And to discuss that topic, or I should say the subject, we have a very special guest with us from Canada, Ruchi Wali. She's Indo-Canadian. And we are going to discuss a very important topic. So let's welcome Ruchi ji. Welcome, Jai Hind, Namaskar.
Namaste, Amberji. Thank you for having me. How are you?
Thank you so much. I'm absolutely well. I hope you're doing well too, because
I am
most
good.
of the people in
Good.
Canada are not safe.
Yes, like it's a very yeah,
Sad
think
story,
it
yeah.
yeah, it's a sad story. Sitting in India, we think that everybody's safe in the West and there is freedom of speech and the police and all the agencies, they are very, they do their job well, but all is not well here on the ground, unfortunately, especially in Canada, I would say.
Yes. So, viewers, a young woman builds a life thousands of miles away from home, seeking safety, opportunity, and a future in one of the world's most developed democracies, which is known as Canada. But one night, that life ends in violence. And we are talking about Nancy Garibal, a name now that at the center of deeply troubling case was not just another statistic. She was a migrant, a worker, a woman trying to build a stability in foreign land, and yet her death raises questions that go far beyond a single crime. But the reports suggest that she had already expressed fear of her life as safety, and there are claims of threats, intimidation, and she also recorded videos and expressed that she's not safe in Canada. And a pattern she believed was building towards something far more dangerous. And then came the night that changed everything, and she got killed, and she's no more with us. Was that an isolated case of violence? And what actually happened with Nancy Garibal? She was living under the threat, and authorities failed to stop the crime and stopped on time. So we are going to discuss, and we are going to I just want to know what happened with Nancy, because few days ago when she got murdered, I texted her and I want to talk to her about all these issues. And unfortunately, before we could connect and talk on these important issues, she died and she's no more with us. So, Laruchiji, first and foremost, I want to know that who was Nancy Garibal as a person, what kind of life she had built in Canada.
So yes, Amber, you're right. This was not an isolated incident, and that is not even how the police is reporting it. So Nancy was a 45-year-old Sikh woman, and
Mhm.
she came to Canada in 2018, and she was working. She was working as a healthcare support worker, and she was supporting her family, and she was working hard. I've even read that sometimes she used to do 2 to 3 shifts a day to support her family back home. She lived in Windsor, which is like one end of Canada, down south, and like I said, worked very long hours. And within her union also, and that has been reported, she's reported as a very committed member who was very focused on her work and somebody to look up to. But she was also like a vocal critic of the Khalistani violent, I would say, Khalistani movement, and people around it, because as I said, she was a Sikh woman, so she lived within the community and she knew what this movement is all about, and it's not nothing to do with peace or humanity. It is not peaceful, it's not humanitarian. So she was a vocal critic of that movement. And if you see, there is a lot of reporting that has been done. City News in Canada has reported that Nancy has, she shared with the police that she's been receiving threats, and she also believed that somebody was following her, and she's gone to the police with some names that, like, literal names that people that she feared. And I think Nancy's sister has also said that she even gave a written letter to the police before she was murdered. So everything that has been coming out of the videos that Nancy did after her somebody tried to basically burn her house in the November of last year, and that is when she recorded this video. And she's openly saying that I'm a Canadian woman, but I'm, I feel threatened. And it is definitely like a seemed like a pre-planned killing, and that's Nancy's family is saying that it seems like a pre-planned killing, and it is like a revenge of what Nancy used to say in her videos. So this is
Yes,
not like a simple killing. She has been
yes.
raising these alarms, and then she dies. So this is,
And Ruchiji, what is more alarming that she was living in Canada, supposedly a most safe country. People migrate to Canada or for a safer and better life, and where she got murdered in Canada. But I want to know what happened that night when she was killed, because she was repeatedly expressing with the viewers, all the followers who used to follow her, and also reporting to the police. So I just want to know why Canada police failed to save another woman, because before also we have witnessed such similar cases. Karima Baloch also,
yes.
she has been murdered in Canada. So there are many examples why such cases repeatedly happen in Canada, and what happened with Nancy at that night when she was murdered.
Yeah, first I'll tell you the account, and then we can discuss why this happened as far as I know, like whatever I know.
Yes.
So, first of all, like I said, somebody tried to burn her house in November. She went to the police, she reported that, and that somebody is threatening her. I think she has reported about 40 death threats that she's got. And
Hmm.
on the night of 3rd of March, earlier this year, couple of weeks ago, somebody she was gone to she was a healthcare worker, right? So she was visiting a client. She used to live in Windsor, but she was visiting a client in La Salle. And shortly after 9:30, after she finished her work at a client's place, somebody, attacked her outside the client's house and stabbed her repeatedly. So that is what happened. And even police is not calling it as a random act of violence, and in fact they're calling it an intentional act against her. The Ontario provincial police is, working on it in addition to the Windsor and La Salle police. And what is disturbing is that after somebody tried to burn her house in the November of last year, she has recorded a video. She's not talking, she's not publicly saying any names. She's just saying that I am scared of I'm scared, I don't feel safe. And but if you listen to her video very carefully, she's saying that the person who attacked her is related to the local gurdwara there, the Gurdwara Khalsa Prakash in Maidstone County Road. So she's calling that out, and she's also saying that the person who attacked her or who's behind the attack, he doesn't come out openly. In fact, he hires like hitmen to target anybody who, he goes decides to go against. And when you hear that video, she can be seen referring to like an earlier shooting that happened in that area, which is at Saint Rose Avenue in Windsor. And if you like do some digging, do some Google search around it, there was a incident that happened at that place at Pal's auto service in the March of 2023. So whatever she's saying is not isolated, but it's like a part of a pattern. And then she goes on saying that this person who's behind me, they he comes like from a criminal background, and that man who's behind her has also faced like a drug case. And she also says that his son has been, has keeps like illegal weapons in his vehicle and has been seen disposing these illegal weapons in river. And that actually overlaps with the case that happened in Windsor. And this case is for, Gur Fateh Singh Kunar or Ladi Kunar. And you if you check the reporting, he was seen tossing a bag out of his pickup truck, I think back in probably 2009, and there were convictions on him on 2014. So this is a pattern. And then when you listen to the video that her mom did after she died, she's actually naming Avtar Singh Kunar, who belongs to this Gurdwara, Khalsa Prakash, which is the Gurdwara that Nancy is also talking about on County Road. So there is definitely a link. It seems like they are, while Nancy did not name anybody and her mother did, but the pattern or the things that they are talking about, they point out to the same person, unfortunately. So that is, that is what is happening. And if you do some like a research on who's Avtar Singh Kunar, and so there is a historical reference to it. So he was questioned. We, like, Canada had their own 9/11, the Air India bombing,
Yes.
and he was questioned during that investigation by RCMP in the June of 1985. And then if you also go through Avtar Singh Kunar's social media, you will see that he, of course, he celebrates Khalistan Zindabad and all that, but there are photographs of him with Lakbir Singh Rode. So Lakbir Singh Rode is the nephew of Jarnail Singh Bhindranwale, and Lakbir
Hmm.
Singh Rode was in Canada as well. But I think he was also questioned for the Air India bombing, and then he ran back to Pakistan. So if you go through Avtar's social media, you will see that there are photographs of him with Lakbir Singh Rode in Pakistan. So Avtar Singh also, I think he went to Pakistan, and they are and. Lakhbir Singh Rode is also associated with International Sikh Youth Federation, which is a banned organization in Canada. So there is so much of like linkage and so much of pattern and evidence, and that is kind of striking, and it needs like a serious discussion. So
Yes.
that is, yeah, that is what has happened.
But
And
Ruchi, what is more concerning that she knew so much and she was sharing it all with the viewers and the followers who used to follow her. And if Nancy Grewal, she was feared for her life, were those warnings taken seriously? And also, I want to know that could earlier intervention, have prevented her death because she was repeatedly.
absolutely, like in a sane mind, you would think that she
Hmm.
went to the police, she reported threats to her life, she gave written letter to the police saying that these are the people who are behind her. You can see, even if you look at CBC has done some reporting, they are reporting like she received 40 threats. So everything is like out there, and still, police kind of failed to protect her in spite of prior warnings, intimidation and fear she had. So this is like, it's a long standing concern that the community has here, especially when it relates to, and she was like a single woman, and the kind of intimidation and the violence, and there is like, it's not it's not just historical or rhetoric. We have seen in the past like how the authorities handle the Air India investigation, for example, or anything that is related to Khalistan related intimidation. It doesn't land well. So
Yes.
unfortunately, that's a long standing issue that we have here as Canadians. And for like Indian audience, I think it also resonates well because it confirms the concern that we Indo Canadians have here. And yeah, I mean, like, it's hard, unfortunately. That's the reality.
Of course, and I also mentioned about Karima Baloch. She was also, she got murdered in Canada, and so many people, just migrate to Canada to find a safer space and
Yeah.
a better life in Canada. But unfortunately, they end up, like this, like Nancy or Karima Baloch. So I want to know one more thing, related to this, especially are migrant women, especially women, because we have seen such cases like Nancy's or Karima Baloch, and they all were, the brave women who were just voicing out the truth and everything, whatever is going on back in their countries. So are women, especially migrant women, are they really safe and facing such hidden threats, you know which is going unreported?
Before I answer that, I want to point out to one more video, if like that her mother recorded after she died. So she's naming Avtar Singh Kunar in that video. Also, she's calling out the Gurdwara, but she has come up with two more names, and the two names that she's talking about, one is Barinder Shokar, and she's saying that Barinder Shokar seems like he's maybe behind this. Remember how Nancy said that this person never comes forward and he hires people, and Barinder Shokar, as per her mother, also happens to be the nephew of Avtar Kunar. So Avtar Kunar is the maternal uncle for Barinder Shokar, and she's also highlighting another name, Harpinder Singh. So Harpinder Singh, as per her mother, seems like he befriended Nancy on Instagram, and seems like
Okay.
he's the one who kind of leaked the location, because she can be seen saying in the video that nobody knew where she was. Like she was working as a healthcare worker. Either the agencies released her location, or this person who was a friend of her
In
on
touch. Mm.
Instagram, because
Mm.
her mother can be seen saying that this person came to her house. He saw all the cameras that she has installed. He also checked her car to see if she has any cameras in her car. So most likely it could be him who released her location, and he knew where she was, because it's very unlikely that the agency might have released her location, that the agency that she worked for. So that's it's like clear evidence, lot of clear evidence on this case. And you know I'm hopeful that police will do something. And coming back to your earlier question, Amber, like, yes, the threat is real. I myself, as a woman, I speak about the Khalistan issue, because I'm a Hindu, but I'm married in a Sikh family. So this is a very important cause for me. I know that there is no support in the community for this movement, and it is not peaceful. And that is why I speak about it. And I receive threats. I am constantly, if you go through my social media, you will see so many slurs and threats and whatnot. When I wrote this article about Nancy in Millie Chronicles couple of weeks ago, and somebody said to
Mm.
me, you being a woman should not be writing such things. So you can imagine the kind of intimidation that like anybody, especially women, speaking about, because they are Khalistani people are wild people. You see how they, and especially in Canada, they run, they are like, they have been given lot of loose rope. Actually, they run rogue, and they run wild, and they are pretty much, they get away with anything that they want. So it's not easy being a woman, and speaking about such issues. And I feel really sorry, especially for Nancy, because I know that she was concerned about it, and that's why she spoke about it. She knew that there is no support about this in the community, and because she belonged to that community, she felt like a personal give back to the community, in the sense that, okay, I should speak about it and let people know that there is no support for this. But unfortunately, that's where we are in Canada. Things don't get done very quickly and very easily, and they get brushed under the carpet, because the Khalistani people have a lot of control. They have infiltrated like pretty much all our systems. So while there is very clear evidence against in case of Nancy Grewal, I don't know what is happening, what is the police doing. It's been so many
Yeah, I want to ask one question, right, just right here. And we all know that this especially this Tensi's case, it is a part of a deeper network of intimidation. But what is the responsibility of authorities? What responsibility of police to, the police or authorities there, or someone, who signals such a dangerous, or danger or fear of life or threat in advance, and they did nothing.
Their responsibility is simple, Amber. Like they have to respect the law of the land, and they have to enforce, even if they enforce the existing laws, then there should not be any issue. The problem is that the
No, but
laws.
Nancy, she was following all the rules. She was not breaking anything. She was,
Exactly.
as an individual, she living in a democratic setup. She was just voicing out her opinion, and she was honestly reporting the wrongdoing. And she should have been protected by the authorities. But why the authorities fail to protect her? I'm just asking about the accountability of authorities. Why this
Well,
happened and what
accountability
they
is
are doing
not,
now?
yeah, accountability is not very high. Like at least so far, I don't see a lot of movement on this case. Like publicly, there is no, nothing has come out, and I know lot of community members, they are working with the police. They are trying to get the message out that this is a real threat, and police should do something about it. But police has not come out publicly as yet anything as to how the investigation is progressing and what is happening. So that is all unknown. We don't know that yet. But yes, like I said, they are, Khalistani, they have infiltrated pretty much all our systems and all our agencies. So doing things against them, and taking them, prosecuting them will be like a uphill ride. It will not be easy, but at the same time, I'm very hopeful. The current federal government that we have in the country, there are signs that we see that they are not in favor of supporting the Khalistan, the non-peaceful Khalistan movement. But the real actions are still to be seen. But I am hopeful that we will see something, but it will not be easy, because of they have like such a heavy setup, and so much infiltration in all our, be it immigration, be it police services, be it anything, you name it, and you will have somebody. And we, because we are on the ground here, we are part of the community, we see it with our eyes, and we feel it, even like when I step out, I don't feel safe myself. So like my family keeps on bringing it again and again. So yeah.
And what is the most important thing is that when a victim, speaks before their death, are we really listening, or we just, only reacting after they are gone?
Yeah,
Isn't it
that's
too late?
it is, and like it is too late. And I'll like I said, she had been reporting, but she went to the police also multiple times, and but nobody did anything. And I think before her death, she also did an interview with CBC, and CBC also did not report on that before her death. They reported it after she died. Maybe if they would have reported it before her death, something would have happened, because it's a national broadcaster in Canada. But it's an unfortunate reality, and there are people out there who think that defeating this uh, Khalistan monster is easy. It's not, because they are pretty well established, they are pretty well ingrained everywhere. So yeah, I mean, it's very unfortunate what happened, and I don't think that that police could have avoided it easily, because even police, like I said, they have come out and said that it's not an isolated incident. She was receiving threats, she went to the police, but somehow nothing happened. So what we need is basically a full credible investigation, accountability, and serious public action, so that whatever happened to Nancy doesn't happen to
Should
anybody
not be
else,
repeated.
basically.
Yes,
Yeah.
absolutely. That is most and more important, because we have seen deeply, troubling reports, including killing of Karima Baloch, Nancy, and many other people who migrated to Canada for a safer and better place and better life. And we are,
Palestini people getting threatened and killed and intimidated by Khalistani, it's a long list, you know,
yeah, yeah, yeah.
like
But
Tara
I'm
Singh
talking about the
here,
people who are
Ujjal
working for
Dosan.
the truth.
Yes,
and
that
justice.
these are normal people. Tara Singh here was a journalist like
Yes,
you. Ujjal Dosanjh
yes,
was attacked, brutally beaten. He's the only brown premier or a chief minister that we had in Canada. Balraj
yes.
Deol, he's a journalist like you. He was attacked. Gurcharan Rampuri, he was also a poet. He wrote something about Bhindranwale. He was attacked. So Rishi Nagar, he's also a journalist. He got attacked. He's blinded with one eye now. And the person who attacked him, he pleaded guilty just a couple of days ago. But it took, like, I think he was attacked in 2023. It took 3 years, like 3 years. When we there is a clear footage of who did it, how they did it. It took them 3 years. So it's, and when you get into this, the grind that you go through as a victim or as a victim family, so that it's not easy to be in those shoes.
But Ruchi ji, so much happened so far. So many people have been attacked and got murdered in Canada. Canada is a supposedly a democratic setup.
Supposedly,
But
yes.
despite all the proofs, all the information in public space and public platform, even the victims before got getting killed, or they themselves reported to the police and to the public that they are under threat and they are going to get murdered or something. After having all the information, police or authorities have failed to deliver justice. Why is that happening in
You
Canada
tell me
repeatedly
why.
for years?
You tell me,
I
like,
just want to understand because I know what is
because,
going
like,
behind
I don't
the.
know, maybe they don't, like, I don't know, they don't care enough. Maybe it is the politics behind it. It is the vote bank politics behind it. Their votes are more important. The money that they raise for these politicians. And
But there is belief that people, human life in West is more important, than in India. We say, oh, यहाँ पे तो मार दो, कोई फर्क नहीं पड़ता. But go back to West, they value people life or human life
no,
more.
it's not, like, especially in Canada, it's pretty bad, like, it's very, very bad. It's not easy to prosecute
Hmm.
these people. They slip because, they are very emboldened. They get free run and lot of, like, loose rope, basically. So they are allowed to run free without any consequences. Even if you look at this family, like Avtar Singh Kunar, the person that her mother is naming, it's like a criminal family. His son is involved. Like I said in just a couple of few minutes ago, that he was seen throwing guns. There are charges on him. I think he was arrested first in 2009, and then there was a conviction in 2014. And the day he was supposed to be sentenced, he went missing. Can you imagine the day he's missing? And he was found 9 years after. Guess from where? His own basement. And there is a, if you do some, like, research, you'll see that he's on record saying that, oh, somebody came. And, like, the criminal background is what I'm trying to highlight. And in the crossfire, his sister gets shot.
Wow.
So it's so, and, like, because Nancy highlighted these names hopefully to the police when she went, because she gave a letter. But still she died. That is something, that is very disturbing. And maybe police knew, still they didn't do anything. Why did they not do anything? It's for anybody and everybody to guess. If she is going to the police, she's saying that I've given written names, I've written a letter to the police, she has reported 40 death threats. And, like, if her mother is saying that, okay, this guy was a friend of her on Instagram, do you think it's difficult for police to find out who that person is? Like, it's in this stage of technology development and IT and everything, do you think they wouldn't have scanned her phone and they wouldn't have known who that person is, or who this is? It's like a crystal, like, it's as clear as day or as clear as water. But here we are, discussing it. It's more than almost 2 months, and
Yes.
nothing, a needle has not moved on the case at all.
Yes. So, friends, Nancy's story is not about how she died. It is about what she tried to say before she died, and a life filled with efforts cut short of it, question that remains unanswered. Justice in this case will not only be about arrest or convictions, it will be about whether the system acknowledges the warning signs that may have been there all along. And because the real test is not just solving the crime, it is ensuring that the next Nancy Grewal is heard before the tragedy strikes. And also,
Absolutely.
I want to request to the Canadian government that Canadian government should take this seriously. The country depends on international students. We all know that so many students go to Canada and to higher studies and everything, and also so many tourists. And its reputation for safety matters the most. Any
Absolutely.
rise in violence or radicalization must be addressed and maintained to maintain the public trust. Also, we all know that society also must protect freedom of expression, because while taking firm a stand against violence, incitement, or any harm to the innocent people, these values go hand in hand. Peaceful protests and disagreements are part of a healthy society, but violence, vandalism, and hatred have no place anywhere. Every act of violence must be treated seriously. Every victim deserves justice. Government should or must uphold the law firmly and consistently. We should aim for society where differences are discussed, not turned into harm, where safety and dignity are protected for all. Thank you,
100%.
Ruchiji,
Thank you so much,
for joining
Anand.
our show and sharing what Nancy has been through and what she was as a person. Jai Hind, Jai Bharat. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you so much.